So ready for launch? In 3, 2, 1, launch. And there we go. Hey, this is Magic Flying Potato playing the free weekend of the Kerbal space program. So this game is currently free until the end of March 31st, which is Monday. It is also on sale on Steam. It's 75% off. It's usually $40 US, and it's currently going for $10 US. So I'm doing I actually did a video earlier where I did a kind of like first look at it, and so what I found out rather quickly is this game is extremely advanced. Even, I mean, you got your cute little space guys. These guys are Kerbals, and the whole concept of this game is that you want to get their space program up and going and get them out into space. And by doing that, you do it by building their space programs with spaceships and stuff like that. Just a quick thing for the settings I had to find out. For graphics, it does start off in a small screen, and this game does take a little bit to load. So I went to 920 1080, and be sure whatever resolution that you like using, be sure to set the full screen, or it will be windowed. Like I did the 920 1080, and it looked weird because it was not the full screen. All right. So what we'll do is we will start, and I would just run through one or two of the basic tutorials, the training that I did earlier. So it just kind of gives you a this is touching the very surface of this game. You will see just what I'm talking about as soon as I start doing this, how complex that this actually is, because this game does use it's based on realistic aerodynamic and orbital physics. Reading that from their little store page. So what we'll do is I'll do the getting started and the basic flight, and you'll see from those two that how in depth that this game can really get. And it's I couldn't believe how in depth this really got. So okay, so this is again tutorial. So this little guy is going to walk you through the tutorial. Vermeer von Kerman, or if you don't have, because I'm living in Germany right now, I know the W's are V's, or pronounced as V's. So if, yeah, either that or it's Wormher von Kerman. And so he'll just go over the tutorial, just tell you how to do it. So and until you like do your things that he asks you to, this control will not open up. So like right now he says just hover over things, see what everything is all about: runway, astro complex, administration, building, research, development, tracking. There's the launch pad. This is where you're going to build your vehicles, mission control, and your runway when you build ships that like the space shuttle that can come back into it. So he wants us to go to the vehicle assembly building, which we'll do. Alright, so here, this is inside the vehicle, something building? Vehicle assembly building. So we'll go next, and so he's a selected command module. So all your modules, all your things for your spaceship is going to be built here. This is your kind of like your save, launch, export your vehicles to Steam, exit. He'll explain it as you go. AV tools, engineering port, messages. So what he wants is you go ahead and just grab this little MK1 module. This is how you look around. You could either right mouse button or your arrow keys on your keyboard. So go ahead and it automatically places that for you. So go ahead and do next. He wants us to add a parachute to the little module right here. So we go to the utilities right here, grab this parachute, and just pop it on there just like that. Go ahead, and as you see, it unlocks the tab. So parts options. So when we pop this parachute on, what he is saying is, okay, so we want to right click it and make adjustments to this parachute so it opens at the right time. So you do a little right click. Right here he says for the altitude of 1000 is where he wants it to actually, like, the chute will open. And the pressure, he wants us to adjust it to 0.2. Right now it's 0.04, and I had trouble here earlier. I wasn't even thinking right. I'm like, I can't go left to get it to 0.2, but that isn't 0.2. You got to go to the right and put it at 0.2. So you see that this opens up. If you go too far, it will close. If you don't get it just right. Okay, so if you're within a 0.02 difference of 0.2, it will open up. Alright, so now he wants us to add a solid motor. Okay, so you go over to the engines, go grab that big engine, just drop it in there, and then click next. And then what he's saying is that this engine is way too big for what we want to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this part that we put on. So we can do it two ways. We can click on it and just kind of like take it off and drag it in here, or you could just click on it and hit the delete screen. So what he wants us to do, wait. Okay, so he got, yeah, so we got rid of that. So he wants us to put this little tiny flea booster on. Just pop it on just like that. And okay, so staging. So here's when I say that it starts this game gets technical. All right, so you know, as rockets are launched, they talk about different stages. We got stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, etc. So this is a 2-stage rocket. You got your rocket booster and your module. So what he's saying is he wants to make this a 2-stage rocket, so everything doesn't happen at one time. So what we need to do is we need to come down to this little section right here. This is the stages, and currently this 0 means technically it is stage a stage, but stage 0, or you'll see in a second. So he wants to add 2 stages. So what we will do is go down and click on this plus sign. Alright, so you see that it's opened up. So now that is 2 stages. You got stage 1 and stage 0, or stage 2, or stage. Again, I am not an astronaut. I do not study aerodynamics, so I don't know if that's the way they do it, but I'm pretty sure that I guess these guys seem to have done a lot of research on this. I mean, if you add too many stages, like right here I got 3 stages, that is going to be not right. So you go back into this little side thing and remove a stage. Alright, so we go ahead and click next. So now he wants to take this booster and put it to this actual stage 1 and leave that where it's at. So we go back over here, you take it, click on it, drag it, and now it is on 1 stage, and the parachute is on the 2nd stage. Yes. Alright, so now we're going to save the craft and go up here. We're going to name this craft Tater Tot. Because I like tater tots. They're so good. And I'm hungry. And it's almost 2 o'clock and I haven't had lunch. I can't spell. I like tater tots. They are yummy. Okay. And then we will... Then when you're happy to name, they click on save. Save is right here. So, bam. Click next. And... Alright, so that's it for this portion of the tutorial. This was just building a spacecraft, and again, this was relatively easy for this little tiny spacecraft. Oh, any vessels you create here will be lost when you exit. Okay, so being that this is still a tutorial, anything that we've done here, like naming the little ship and everything like this, is not saved because this is a tutorial. Once you're in the actual game, whatever you build here will be saved, according to what he's saying. And so we'll go ahead and hit do. We'll leave the tutorial, the training, and we'll do training number 2. Alright, so tutorial number 2, you're out on the launch pad with the little spaceship that you just built. All the settings right here, stage 1, stage 2. And now he's going to start explaining what all this stuff, technical stuff is right here. So now we got Gene Kerman, who is our... he'll teach us the basics of piloting the spacecraft. I don't know who he is. Basic flight controls. Basic flight controls. So you got the three aspects of pitch, yaw, and roll. They'll explain that in just a little bit, like right now. So you're looking at your ship. So roll. It spins the ship. So let me see if I can get. All right. So if we're looking at it, roll. If it will spin the ship around like a bullet fired from a gun that has rifling. It will add a spin to it. Yaw is the left-right movement. So yaw would be left-right, and pitch would be the other, going the other direction. So yaw is kind of like moving it left or right, and pitch would be moving it towards you or back away from you. I'm trying to remember right, but once you start doing it, you'll understand. Okay, and of course here they go. They tell you right here. AD is left right. QE is rolling left right, and SW is pitch up or down. Basic flight controls. So they want to have a crash-free flight. Again, being that this is a little module, there is no throttle control. They limited amounts of controls you have on this. They said the smaller the ship, the easier it is to control. The bigger it is, the harder it is to control. And as the stages separate from the ship as it goes up, it will become lighter and usually easier to control. Usually easier to control, that's what they say. Alright, so the flight planning, that's when the staging comes into play. If you staged it right, you hit your space bar to launch it and activate the stages. If you didn't stage it right, so say we wanted to pop this bottom off and wait later for this parachute, if you put them all in the same stage, you're going to pop the bottom and hit the parachute both at the same time, and that's probably not a good thing. This is the nav ball. They said that this is kind of like the most important piece that you're going to be looking at right now. It tells you where you're at from the surface, same with altitude right here, but kind of it's a global type indicator thing. You keep it from a death-free flight. This is, I guess, the way your nose is pointing in orientation to the earth and ground. Flight instruments, top center, right here. Altimeter, show the distance from the planet right here. So how much close you are to the ground. So we are on the ground right now. That's to the water, to the ground. Vertical speed right here. It says when launching, it's considered best to keep this gauge pointing up. Yeah, you don't want to go reverse. That means you're going into the ground. Atmosphere gauge. Okay, so this will tell you how far you are from into space. Parachute indicators. This one kind of got confusing for me. Probably still is. The left three show safety. So safe, risky, unsafe to pop the parachute. The chute is unstaged white in the left three. The right three show after staging armed, deployed, and if it gets cut or shredded. Alright, so that was, again, basic tutorial for this. We are going to go ahead and launch the rocket and see if we live. Yes, so now get prepared, hit the space bar. So ready for launch. In 3, 2, 1, launch. And there we go. Don't have to hold the space bar anymore. You just... So keep an eye on the parachute icon. This right here shows you just realize too much to learn. So if you get confused or anything like that, then you hit the escape key and you can go ahead and just kind of redo this whole thing. So this is where we are in the atmosphere. We are not quite in space. We're 12,000. See, we're still going up. Still going up. So, you can also see this is my little pilot dude right here. He's inside. He's smiling, so he's happy. So your side burned out. Do so now. Oh. So deploy. I think I just deployed my. Shoot. Arm the chute. Now it's time to wait to get low enough and slow down. I can't really spin this ship around. So the chute automatically deployed. I think because of our altitude setting that we did earlier, or maybe this. So yeah. So again, left, right. I can't really. It's you can't really control a tube. So I'm trying to spin it. That's the pitch. This is the yaw, and if you do the QE, it will start spinning. Hopefully the chute will open up. There it goes. So it'll open up and spin your little guy around, and now you're just gonna float back down to the ground. This is what he's looking at inside. Really not much to see. So he is pointing, he's like sitting with his, looking up towards the chute. Again, there's really no control. If you're trying to control where you land, I guess there really isn't. I guess you can a little bit. I don't know. Maybe. No. Go ahead and we're going to touch down. And there we go. So they said that ended the basic landing of this. Again, a lot of controls to learn, a lot of things to learn on this game. Let's see if they say you can actually. Oh, yeah, you could actually, if you go down here, you could get your little guy to leave the spaceship. Climb out, and then down, and he'll fall to the ground. Poor little dude. Come on, get up, 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 up. And there we go. And just, see if we can get him to walk towards us. There we go. So yeah, this is Kerbal Space Program. Free for the weekend. Go ahead, check it out. It is definitely something that will engage your mind because it's got so much stuff going on that it's got a lot of stuff, a lot of technical stuff. Again, it's free till Monday. $10 until Monday. So if this is something that you're interested in and want to continue playing, I would say go ahead and check it out. Until then, you guys have a great weekend and have fun trying to reach the stars in this game.